Graham Potter's first game in charge against RB Salzberg. Chelsea won, RB Salzberg won. It was not much to write home about, let's be honest. A disappointing performance from Chelsea, considering that we're dropping points to Dynamo Zagreb and RB Salzberg, and that we now sit bottom of our Champions League group. Yeah, it's close. We might need to press the panic button at this point. Of course, this is Potter's first game in charge, and this is not the kind of situation I'm sure he was happy to walk into, but that doesn't mean that alarm bells are not ringing for this Chelsea team, and we need to get this campaign underway and pick up 3 points fast. We got AC Milan in our 2 fixtures in this tie, and they're must-win games, both of them. It's the strongest team in our group. Olivier Giroud, Tomori, we're going to be playing some old familiar faces, and we're in the mud. We're bottom of the group, and we really can't afford to even draw, I would say. It is a really bad predicament we have found ourselves in so soon, dropping points to the 2 weakest teams in the group, but I guess this is why Graham Potter was appointed. We need to steady the ship, and we need to start getting points. Now, Potter fielded an 11 that was very interesting. He went with the back 4. He went with Cucurella. He went with Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta and Reece James. Azpilicueta, the right-sided centre-back, was a surprise considering Fofana, Chalobah, Koulibaly all on the bench. He went with the old guard, which is fair to say. And I can't blame him. You know, you come into a team and you haven't been able to implement or get to know these players at all. You've been in charge under a week, I think, still. And you're going to go with the team with the most experience and who are most familiar with playing with each other. Completely understandable. He goes with a 3, Jorginho, Mason Mount and Mateo Kovacic in the midfield. I thought they played well. I thought Mason Mount was bright spark, almost picking up some of his form from last season, and it was good to see him creating opportunities and getting into dangerous positions on the half turn with his flicks, creating those cute passes. I was really impressed with Mason Mount, and it was great to see him put in another performance that we have grown so frequent to seeing him perform. And Mateo Kovacic was very lively in this game. I'm not sure he had his best game. I'd probably give him like a 6 or a 7 in this performance, in that performance last night. Some things worked for him, some things he didn't quite pull off. Jorginho also. Jorginho is just always a question mark on him. I understand why he makes his way into so many starting 11s. I understand he's a very composed footballer, but I feel like when he does get the ball in some situations where there is someone pressing him and we need a quick release, I do worry, I do fear when I see him on the ball, because he can be quite slow to release, and he can be one of those players that, even though there is the simple 5-yard pass there is to make, he almost wants to make a point of getting himself out of trouble himself, and that doesn't always pay off. We've conceded a few goals like that due to Jorginho's sort of arrogance in those areas, and there was a glimpse of that last night, and we almost were in the mud again, but fortunately it didn't come off, and we managed to escape conceding first. Up front, Raheem Sterling, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz was a bit of a passenger in this game. A lot has been said about his performances under Thomas Tuchel in that false 9. Potter opts to play him in the 3, and I think he was missing in action. This is a new system for him, I'm sure. For a player with such enormous quality, we need to find a way to utilise him best, and we need to find a way quickly, because there's no point in him starting and us not getting the best out of him. Of a player of that calibre, we really need to see some better performances and some more cutting edge in our attack, which was what was lacking. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also didn't quite get the opportunities that I'm sure he would like. He was sort of feeding off scraps, but I think in this Chelsea team, with all this possession, that is what you're going to have to grow familiar with, because when we've got all this possession, it's quite hard to get in on goal. We're not sitting back and absorbing pressure and then going on the transition as teams like maybe Tottenham or Arsenal do. We are trying to find the right pass and almost score the perfect goal, Townsend said yesterday. And I think for a striker like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he's going to have to be patient and just hope that chances will fall his way. And I think they will, because he is a man who's got a deadly finish on him, and we just need to... He needs to create some more movement, which I have been watching, and I do think he has been, but he just needs to be a bit more patient, and we need to be a bit more patient, and I'm sure the chances are going to fall to Aubameyang. Now, Raheem Sterling was probably one of the most insightful players last night when looking into what Graham Potter has brought to this team. And already, this is almost a radical idea. He plays Raheem Sterling so far out wide, almost like alienated from the rest of the team, like not joining in build-up play, not getting on the ball, sort of in the middle of the pitch, just constantly hugging the edge of the pitch, and just waiting for his opportunity, waiting for someone to spring a ball to him so he can just attack those defenders. And he was impressive, and I think on another night Raheem Sterling could have easily got 2 or 3 goals. He found himself in the right moment many occasions. His finishing was a little bit to be desired yesterday, but he did score that all-important goal. Somehow Reece James passes it on to Mason Mount, and that Mason Mount pass evades Chelsea players, Salzburg players, evades everyone, and falls into the path of Raheem Sterling, who dispatches it in the right-hand corner brilliantly. And that's Chelsea's top goal scorer this season. You can bank on him to score goals. How many goals? That's perhaps the conversation. But he is our bright spark, and he is the man who seems to have a bit of cutting edge in our attack, because we are severely lacking it at the moment. And that, to me, is the difference, and that is the reason why we've dropped points yesterday. That is why it's 1-1 and not 3-1 and not 4-1. It's because we can't seem to score more than 2 goals. When was the last time we scored 3 goals? When was the last time Chelsea FC scored 3 goals? It's just becoming really comical. Everyone, all summer, we need a number 9, we need a striker. Aubameyang's come in, it's too soon, but this is the issue. And obviously, this is Graham Potter's first game. He's had them under less than a week, and I did not expect miracles at all, but it was just a reminder that, we have sort of really, really got to sort out our attack and how we're going to generate more goals. Some players are severely lacking confidence. He made a lot of changes yesterday. I would be amiss to not talk about Hakeem Ziyech coming on, and a lot of the Chelsea faithful giving him a bit of a hard time. Because I think there's a few narratives going around that Ziyech is perhaps one of the players who his underperformances have been sort of, you could attribute to Thomas Tuchel's sacking. I mean, it's not one player alone, and it's Tuchel's strategies were not working. But Hakeem Ziyech, whenever he did come on, he did always give very drab performances. And yesterday was a mixed bag. It was filled with a lot of great chances for Hakeem Ziyech that he did well to take. I think the pass from Brozier squared across goal that Ziyech tried to just quite cute and dip it over was probably a great opportunity, but I don't think there's much more he could have done. It was a great save from the keeper. Then there were a few wayward passes, a poor corner, but the Chelsea hopeful were just giving him such a hard time, and I think his head probably went down a bit after that, because it was very one-sided. Apparently Pulisic also received a few boos, but From the TV, all I could hear was a lot of booing for Hakeem Ziyech, and you don't like to see that, but Ziyech has been poor. And for a player of that much quality, like when he comes on, I just feel like his attitude is wrong. He feels like a player that approaches the game in a very nonchalant way, and I'm sure that's just who he is, and that's how he is, and he's a fantastic player with a fantastic peg on him. But it's just, I think some Chelsea fans have grown tired of those Ziyech performances, and therefore he received a few boos yesterday. How we'll react from that, I don't know, but I think there's a lot of Chelsea players that are lacking in confidence, and that needs to get addressed quickly. We've got 2 weeks from our next game, which is not ideal. I'm sure it's a good opportunity for Potter to implement some of his strategies, work his philosophy into this squad, but it would be nice to see this team play sooner rather than later, because we can learn a bit more about this team and about this new regime through game time. And in the training field, not so much. Chelsea are bottom of the group is this Champions League tie. We've played the 2 weakest teams and we've dropped points to both. AC Milan are next, and it's worrying times for the Champions League campaign this year. It would be very, very disappointing to write it off so quickly, but we are a team that are clearly in need of a transition, and I thought we were okay yesterday. We were average, but it would have been great to have gotten a result last night and to have scored a few more goals. And I'm sure Potter has quickly identified that we've got a goal scoring problem. We have a massive goal scoring problem, and that needs to get addressed quickly. Guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about that performance last night. Maybe I'm being too harsh in certain areas, but I really think that it was a game that 3 points was sort of a must, given the circumstances. But it doesn't fall on the manager, it just falls on the players at this point. The players are not performing, and they need to... Something needs to change in their approach to the game, and they need to start putting in some better performances ASAP. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe if you do like the video and you'd like to see more of this kind of content, and I'll see you in the next one.